Good morning. Karen Birchall, Creative Katie, and I'm going to do a flip through of my 61 ICADs from my Index a Card a Day challenge. Now, before I get into showing all of these cards, I just want to say a few words about the challenges. The goal of any challenge, whether it's my Try It Tuesday challenge or Daisy Yellow's challenge or Shannon Green's journaling by fives, the goal of all of that is to simply get us to create. So use those as jump boards to get yourself down and get yourself creating. Sometimes we have roadblocks and a challenge gives us the permission somehow or the inspiration to sit down and get doing art. And so whatever that is, but don't ever feel limited by my challenge or any other challenge that's out there. They all are to inspire you to get into the act of creating whatever. If there's one part of my challenge or another challenge, please give yourself permission to do it and make it your own. Now, Daisy Yellow's challenge, the Index Card a Day, the whole idea, I wasn't there when it started, but it gave me videos to watch from artists that I watched when I started out. So I really wanted to do the challenge. I didn't use an index card. I didn't follow the prompts that were there. For me, those things were less important than the aspect of doing art every day, consistently, ongoing. So, and that is the purpose. And I'm sure all those people would agree. I shouldn't speak for them, but I think their goal is the same as mine. Get people out there, get them creating and enjoying the process and enjoying the end result. As much as we say it's not about the product, sometimes it is. I like to create something that I like and looks nice. For me, doing the Index Card a Day challenge, I set my own goals. So I springboarded off of Daisy Yellow's idea of doing an index card a day. I set my own prompts based on what was going on in my own life and quotes and materials. I also wanted to use up things that were in my stash. I wanted to try new techniques. I wanted to get rid of stuff in my stash. And I wanted to have something that I knew I could do over the transitional time this summer was going to be for me, the June and July. It was an extremely busy time. We were in the process of packing up our house, finding a new home, doing all that kind of stuff. The last thing I needed to do was have this on my shoulder, not only doing the art, but then making the videos and editing and doing that. But it kept me structured enough while everything else was going crazy. This kept me structured enough and I could use it as an avenue for my art. As it turned out, I was suffering from a lot of back pain at the time, and knee pain, and was dealing with that. It was really nice to be able to sit down and forget about all the things that were going on in my life and just get involved in the art. And art does that for you. It can be that escape. So I'm going to take these. I tried to put them in order. One is missing. It was given away. So we will zoom in. So my Julie Nutting dolls. Believe you can, and you are halfway there. So that was my first one, and that was kind of the emotion that I wanted to go. I wanted to believe that I could do all 61 of them. Okay, they're the same size. Why am I having to? We all have time machines. Dreams take us forward. Memories take us back. Using some of my jelly prints. It's a love thing. Oops, how come? There we go. Beach, best escape anyone can have. And here I used, to make it just to make the colors pop, I put pouring medium on top to get that extra shine. Most times I like the matte finish. This one, not so much. In the end, we only regret the chances we didn't take. Bloom, using some jelly prints and my Dilutions paints. And there's a video for almost all of these cards that you can find. I will put a link up here in the iCard to the playlist that I have set up. And when you go to the playlist, you've got hours of viewing pleasure, and you can skip the ones that interest you and see the different techniques. This is one of my first attempts with the crackle medium that I had, and I absolutely loved it. This one was inspired by a free printable that I used on here, and then I used my supplies to try to create the same thing. The secret to change is to focus your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new. And yeah, it was you can very much see the transition and the difficult times that I have. Make a wish. This one used paper towel. Time spent with a cat is never wasted. So I use my Inktense blocks to create a very colorful background and some free printables. Twinkle, just shine. So I've got some shine on there, and there's just this lovely texture from colored paper towel that I use to clean up leftover paint. Time flies when you're having fun. Dilutions paints with stencils and free printables. Another Julie Nutting card, Follow Your Heart. Just using stamps, stencils, removing color, different techniques. Be patient. Just like a puzzle, it takes time for the pieces of your life to come together. So, I mean, I can almost tell you the day of that, what happened when we were looking for a house and everything. And we're just waiting for one thing to fall into place so we could do the next. Every day holds the possibility of a miracle. And I just love the background. Got lots of texture, using texture paste there, and then rubbing it with my gold paint. Believe that there is good in the world, and then highlight it, be the good. Just used my technique of using embossed cardstock to stamp into. When you believe, signs show up everywhere. So just butterflies. This I did the exclusion technique on this one with silver paint, so you can really still see through it, and just put in the stenciling in or masking off the butterflies from a colorful background. Believe. I just threw my colors on, and you can see the wings are a little shinier, and I put pouring medium. I don't know if you can see. There we go. You can kind of see the shine there. And I cut it out so it kind of looks like stained glass. Love, love, love this one. Fun, summer fun. The texture. Never apologize for who you are. Let faith be bigger than your fear. And this, I used some jelly prints that I had, and I cut them up and I just put them on the card. I love that jelly print, how the colors worked. was something that taught me, if I took these two colors and I mixed them on the jelly print, they came up this way. So now I've used that deliberately mixing paint. This was using some of the from an adult coloring book. I cut it out and I embossed Lift Your Spirit up in there and just put it on a background of black to make it really pop. Take the time to enjoy the little things in life. So this one I had my jelly printed stickers, and I just cut them and laid them onto a black background and then put a focal point on. Dream. So you can see there's some texture in the background. It's just very subtle. The patterns, I just put the color on with the stamping and then masked off the word dream and painted everything black. My little butterflies, my free printables. If you go to my Pinterest site, I have a Pinterest board called Free Printables that you can just go off and find them. But you do have to go past the link. You have to go to the actual page, and sometimes you have to search for them. So don't give up, because you can find some really great free printables on there. Let Your Love Shine. Again, another coloring from an adult coloring book that I had colored and basically just Mod Podged on, edged, splattered, and put a saying on. I love peacocks. Why blend in when you were born to stand out? And if you look on the background, I stamped into the wet paint, 2 different colors of wet paint with my embossed cardstock. There was a peacock feather. And then I just drew the peacock head in front of that. So we kind of have the whole background. And a little bit of gold. Gotta have gold, gotta have bling. Don't look back, you are here. And that's, the one saying, don't look back, you're not going that way. Keep your eyes forward. Definitely needed that reminder this summer. Life is a circle. The end of one journey is the beginning of the next. And definitely experiencing that in my life. So I had a jelly print with some circles on the back, and you can see the circles. So I've got the circles back here, I've got stamp circles, and then the saying. This one, again, using my embossed cardstock to stamp into wet acrylic. If you don't like where you are, move. You are not a tree. Using a jelly print, stamps and stencils, and stamps that have been put onto deli paper. Follow your art. Unlock your dreams. So these keys, both of the keys that are in the background and these keys were made using embossed cardstock. Another one using colored paper towel. Sometimes the smallest things take up the most room in your heart. So now we're getting into the ones that I created on the island, on Vancouver Island when we were there, finding our new home. Just magic, Little Mermaid. And I had some stamps and I made 3D with a little pop dot. And using my magicals. Not all stars belong to the sky. And these, you'll notice I'm going to do this to all of them. I'm going to put jelly prints on the back, kind of color coordinated to what's going on in the front, and just put them in the back. And whether I put another inspirational quote or not, time will tell. Using my Dilutions paints and a stencil, and then a brand new stencil. Soar, and using the fancy writing from Cat Hands, one of her morsels. Explore. So again, I had from a magazine, put it onto a jelly print. Love my jelly prints. They came in so handy, and I have a lot less. So coming up very soon is going to be a jelly print video where I make more of my jelly prints. And then I just stamped some of my seashell stamps that I got from Michaels. I love this one. This one, very, very simple. Colored paper on the background. It was I believe, a coffee filter, and just stamped on it, and a little bit of acrylic paint, some splatter. Laughter, the shortest distance between two people. Girls just want to have fun. I had found some fairy stick-on stickers from the dollar store, and I just fell in love with them and the background, and just had to experiment. This one, which I love, is one of my favorites, I think, of the whole thing. I have the dragonfly, which was a free printable, but on the back it was actually a magical technique that went wrong, and then so I had the card and I thought, oh, I'm just going to play with this, and I put the stencil on it. I like that, and then it just all came together, and I love it. So, you know, at the time it was like, oh, that went wrong, and it got tossed to the side. I came back to it, and it created a beautiful background and a beautiful card. So never say never. This was using my magicals, and again, I tried that same stamping technique with magicals. It didn't work. So right on camera, you'll see me just spray the water on and start moving it, and I just love the background that it created. And it just, this fairy, even though I didn't want to use another fairy so quickly, just had to use her because she just fit. It was like she was made for this background. My Dream Catcher stamp from Michaels from the $1.50 bin. Dream without fear, love without limits. So I've got some texture back here. I used the salt technique with my Inktense blocks, and you got this vivid color. This one I was playing, and I think I used probably every technique under the sun. It says, it's good to play, and you must keep in practice. So I got stencils, I got modeling paste, I got drippage, I got splatters, I had Inktense blocks, I had, you name it, I probably put it on the card. In the end, it's okay. The card makes me smile because I know the journey. Using the inspiration from Leanne at Be Creative 2, doing some doodling, put on a jelly print, and then I just doodled on it. And I love it. I don't know if I'll ever have a patience to a big sheet. I don't know how she does, but it says live well, laugh often, love much. So that was part of my stash, these little stickers. Bought them when I first started art journaling and never used them. So made a dent in them. This one, Dilutions paints, and some hearts that are leftover paint that I put onto a coffee filter, layered, kind of embossed with gold, splattered with gold and black. Always know in your heart that you are far bigger than anything that can ever happen to you. I love this one. This was a stamp that I rarely use. And while it didn't turn out so well on the coffee filter, colored background, kind of smudged, I really love it. It's just very showy. The colors are great. These are analogous colors. You will find them next to each other on the color wheel. And when you use colors that are next to each other on the color wheel, you get a very harmonious look. And you really can't go wrong no matter what you put on it after that. It's all about the color choices. This one, the flowers came from an adult coloring book. Again, and I did a lot of fussy cutting and found the right background that makes them pop. So we have the blue and the orange, especially the orange colors, the pink a little bit, but those are complementary colors. They're across each other on the color wheel. So they're going to pop together. You don't want to mix them together, but you do want to play them off of each other. And then I have an embossed hummingbird and a dragonfly over here. This was a jelly print background, and then doilies that I cut out and I stamped onto it. I can and I will. This was me being persistent, persevering despite difficult times. I can and I will. And that kind of symbolizes my entire summer. Using my newly acquired stamp, the Dream Catcher. May your choices reflect your hopes, not your fears. And I just, you know, gold and black. Very simple, but very effective. Worrying will never change the outcome. Yeah, worrying gives you something to do. It's kind of like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but you really don't get anywhere. And, you know, I don't know what they say, 90% of what we worry about never happens. So again, this was a jelly print, and I just stenciled on it with the black, splashed with silver, and it just, I love how it turned out. I have the bee stencil. I bought a stencil pack at Michael's. I can't remember what the name of it was. It was more in the home decor area, not the crafting area. And it had a bee. So I did black with the bee and its stencils. And you can see that, you can't see it on screen, but there are different colors. There's kind of yellow and orangey tones and white on there. And it just says beautiful. Probably my least favorite card of the whole pile. I used mixed media morsel technique on a jelly print to get the print, get this sticker, just smile. And this was in sheer attempt of getting in, doing my art, and just smile, move forward. So it represents a difficult time, and I overcame it. Gotta love those little Tim Holtz's Crazy Birds. Just use that, and another stamp set that I got from the dollar store with my embossed cardstock to stamp into the background, into acrylic paint, and away you go. Why does it pop so much? Because yellow and blue, or orange and blue, they're complementary colors. They're across each other from the background. So if you're ever wondering, once you create a beautiful background, what you can put the focal point, what focal point? Look for a complementary color. Look, grab a color wheel, go online, find a color wheel. You don't have to buy one. What's across from it? Try to use something in that area. It will pop and it will look good. Live creatively. Just having fun with my Inktense blocks, splattering. Another Crazy Bird. And again, they're complementary colors. They're across each other. Never in a million years would I put these two colors together. I did it only because after I created the background that I liked, I looked and across the color wheel, therein lies the green. And then I splattered it with the green to tie it all together. As long as everything is exactly the way I want, I'm totally flexible. Using some new crackle paint, I put gold on, the crackle medium, and then black. And you can watch this, check out this video. You can see it crackle before your eyes. It happens so quick. And then I free printables, the butterflies in the bright colors. I didn't want to do butterflies, but sometimes the card speaks. Everything I needed to learn about creativity, I learned by making mistakes. And you can see how much I learned doing these index cards. As you go through the videos, you will see that. So this was Dilutions paints and a stencil on top of it, outlined in white with the free printable fairy. This one was index card number 60, but it was also Try It Tuesday, number 15. This is when life gives you rainy days, play in the puddles. Again, never do the collage technique like that. Something I can definitely play with in the future. And something anyone can do. Create a nice background, and then putting this sparkle tool on top just makes it that much more special. And the last one, it was, 30 degrees and I was sweltering hot, so had to do a little bit of a winter one. So use the stencils, playing with my paints till I get the color that I like, kind of did a couple times, made mistakes, and then stamped with embossed cardstock again. So thank you very much for joining me on my journey and coming for this flip through. I hope it's inspired you to pick up and try and experiment. Maybe go check out my videos that are up in the top right hand corner. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. That way you'll make sure you can see all the videos that are coming up, and then you can choose if that's something that interests you or not. And go have fun, go play, go do art every day.